All right, welcome to a whiskey kind of day. And I feel so bad for Gabe, who is in the worst state in the union,
Oh, come on, man.
Texas, because Gabe, Texas feels that they're not part of the United States and they want to be an independent state for some reason. And they've gone and disconnected the grid out there, which has left you out in the cold.
Hey, listen, these people are wild, man. But man, that's how Texas always been. They always wanted to kind of succeed from the union and do their own thing. Everything's bigger in Texas, and so is the concepts and mindsets. But everything that you dream up ain't really meant to be. I think people don't think about the ramifications of losing that federal support.
Right.
You become an entity on your own, and you also become a target.
Well, listen. In theory, it sounds great. The state of Texas disconnected its power grid from the federal grid or from the national grid because they didn't want to have to deal with federal regulations, and they said, "Listen, we'll go it alone." And for the most part, it works. They've been going it alone and doing their own thing. Except there's a reason why the federal government overdoes things for that once in a lifetime cold snap that came down and kind of caught you guys off guard. And it's like, wow. All of Texas blanketed with snow and pipes bursting, a normal occurrence in people's house. As a matter of fact, your business, the food you got 2 to 3 inches of water out there.
Listen, man. I promise you, man, I'm gonna have to write a book one day. It is astonishing the things that happen. It's one of those things, man. If anything can go wrong, it's gonna go wrong. I mean, and it was actually very simple. This wasn't like no major break or anything like that. It was a water line leading to my rear bathroom in the store. It was just an old faucet line well separated, the faucet valve separated from the pipe, and it just so happened to run probably over the course of 2 or 3 days, man. And literally showed up at the store, water running out of the front door. We sitting up, we got 2 inches of water sitting in the store. So in conjunction with being closed due to the winter storm for a week, I had to shut down for another 2.5 days, cleaning up, draining waters, pushing water out the front door, dehumidifying the building.
Wow.
Ah, man.
This show is called A Whiskey Kind of Day, and it's about businesses and the things that business owners go through. You have a hole in your wall that somebody crashed into. Now we've got water in the store, and this is exactly what we talk about on this show: the things that you don't expect. When you can't business, you think I'm just going to open a business, I'm going to sell a product, I'm going to advertise it, I'm going to make some sales, and we're going to
get rich. Oh man, I'm about to be rich beyond belief, and it's like none of that. But at the end of the day, man, you got to come into any business with what they call contingency capital. You got to be there from the very beginning, knowing that your investment has to exceed operational capital.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you come to the table with just operational capital, you're basically setting yourself up to fail. And that's why they say the first 3 years, if you can make it past the first 3 years of opening any business, then that business eventually has a higher percentage of potential of actually being successful over time. And that's really just because those people that put towards the energy of planning out those 3 years, not only from a writing it down standpoint, but as well as financially planning that out and having the capital to back it up and be prepared for those contingencies, man. Because that's just one of those things you got to be prepared for. And that's the reason why I've been drinking all week.
Well, I'll join you. I'll join you with a drink. A friend of mine went to Mother Russia, and
what you drinking, Don?
Well, this is a premium vodka. Now, this thing costs
a really small bottle.
This is $1,000. That's how premium it is. Okay.
Why?
So they brought me this back, and then I've got some chocolate from Kazakhstan.
Okay. Right. Okay. So you're just being all kind of exotic right now.
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm a tequila drinker, but I'm going to pour this vodka here and replace it today. This is the first drink of the day, and I'm going to test this to see how this really is, because it's.
So you only have one bottle of that.
Yeah, this is $1,000.
I want everybody to realize he is drinking $1,000 right now.
$1,000 bottle of premium vodka. Matter of fact, they only made this in limited quantities.
That's done Amiche for you right there.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
that's how Dunn does it. That's why he's the Dunn. That's how he does it.
yeah,
Hey,
so,
again, let's get to man. Welcome to Whiskey Kind of Day. As Dunn sip on his what's that $2.50 he just swallowed.
I'm not a vodka drinker, but nice and smooth.
Real nice. Listen, I mean, we just here to have fun. We're here to talk about business, life, the ups and downs, those main moments that make you say, damn it, I need a drink.
Absolutely.
And just talk about some things that business owners and entrepreneurs do and go through on a day-to-day basis. And hopefully we can just learn some from each other talking through these pressure points. And listen, we ain't trying to pressure nobody to drink anything. If your drink of choice to help you come out throughout at the end of the night is coffee, tea, water, do what you do. But my drink of choice right now is Gentleman Jack. And as Doug just said, he's drinking some premium.
Yeah, it's so expensive. I don't even know how to read that. So, that's how expensive it is. Okay. You can join the conversation today. Make sure that you have, I see Brent is trying to check in and join the conversation, but we made it available. The link is in the description. But you got to make sure that you are coming from either a PC or a MacBook with a webcam and audio, and you got to make sure that's connected before you get in, and we'll get you into the conversation. But we want to bring our guest on who I've been excited when you said.
Hold on, man. Listen. I got to put this on here, man, because we talking about football, man, and I used to be a football man. So we gonna start this conversation out. Hold on.
Wow.
There we go.
There used to be a show back in the 90s called Married with Children, and there was a guy named Al Bundy. And he would always, he was a shoe salesman, but he would always relive his glory days of football when he was in high school because he was like the lead quarterback on the team. And I'm starting to feel that that's what you're turning into right now. Is that what this is?
I took my earpiece out. What'd you say?
I said I was saying that there was a guy on Married with Children called Al Bundy, who used to always relive his high school football glory days. Is that what you're trying to do?
Hey, well, listen, this ain't high school. I actually had my run at semi-pro football, and I had my dreams of getting to the pros and all that good stuff, and that was my journey back. I tried the high school thing. I injured myself, and I thought I wouldn't come back from it. I messed up my ACL early in my young football career. And then I got out of college, and a good friend of mine who was at the gym got me into powerlifting. And I started deadlifting and powerlifting, and man, I was lifting weight that I thought I'd never even lift. I actually leg pressed a little bit shy of 1,200 pounds and hit a gym record. At that moment, I said, man, I think I can get back into football. And I did, man. I got a lot of great accolades running this helmet into people, playing outside linebacker. And I got a shot to go to the arena, and then I had a real bad motorcycle accident, which set me down. So that's my story. And listen, at the end of the day, this helmet is going to be a memory and a reminder of just if you set your dreams into it, you can actually do something with it. Just for me, it wasn't my talent, it wasn't my gift. So it's just going to be where it's at.
You know what? We're going to be talking with a sports agent here. I wonder if he can give a quick snap of how much money you would have made if you would have went to the NFL.
Come on, man. Let's go ahead and demoralize me some more.
Yeah. Well, that's what the show's all about. So let's bring in Paul. Now, how do I pronounce Paul's last name?
I have no idea. I've been knowing this man for over 20 years, and I still don't know how to pronounce his last name.
All right, so let's bring Paul and let him. Hey, Paul, how you doing? How do we pronounce your last name?
Man, what's up? First off, how y'all doing, man? Thank y'all for
What's up, Paul?
I'm good. Wait, you really got a helmet on though?
Got a helmet on.
This man looking like Willie Beeman on Any Given Sunday. It's crazy.
Hey, man. Hey. Listen, okay, it's getting hot. Oh my God.
No,
okay.
So the fact that he don't know how to pronounce my last name is
disrespectful, right? You would think, right?
It's very disrespectful, but it's cool. I'm on y'all show, so I'm gonna text him later and tell him how disrespectful it was. But the last name is actually Daracel, like a carousel with a D. So y'all can imagine when I was in kindergarten, first grade, trying to learn how to spell a last name with that many letters in it. It was tough. They thought I was a little slow.
Wow. Yo. You're not though. So I'm just sitting here reading your accomplishments. Not only are you a sports agent, You have your own agency, but you're also a lawyer practicing all kinds of litigation imaginable, which is absolutely amazing. So you're definitely not slow.
Yeah.
So I want to know if you were to represent Gabe.
Come on now.
He didn't tear that ACL. What kind of money could you have gotten, Gabe?
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, first of all, when you talk about a guy like Gabe, I'm gonna call him JY throughout the show. I don't know if you know this.
Okay.
Junkyard.
Oh man.
Oh, JY. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I knew this was a mistake.
Yeah, he knew it was. So Beta Sig, number 12.
Can he get on the practice squad at least?
Here's what I think about a guy like Gabe, okay? So if you look at his athleticism and being on the step team in the fraternity of Alpha Phi Alpha, you know, he's a guy who won 3 championships in a row on these step teams. And he showed good lateral movement, great vertical. He's an excellent team leader. I could see him playing some linebacker, like hybrid safety in today's NFL. I could see JY.
What I did.
What I can see with JY with the proper training and great diet, if he stops drinking, I can see him going anywhere within the first 3 rounds of the draft. He's a great talent, and you know we're talking about 3rd round. We're looking at a guy maybe
going. When you say going, getting X out of the draft or being picked in the first round?
No, Don, I can see him getting picked at least by day 2 of the draft. Day 2. You know, I think he's a very smart guy. He would do well on the Wonderlic. On the Wonderlic, he's a smart guy. The band background. I got him going 3rd, 4th round, bro.
And listen, you know, to put this in perspective, Tom Brady didn't even go in the first round. You know, he was at the bottom of the barrel. Look how great he had.
You have to look at it with a guy like JY. You know, you have to think about it. He's he could be on the field on 3rd down, on 1st down, on 2nd down. He's a locker room guy. He's from Dallas. You know,
all day long, man. All day long.
Look, he's a day 2 guy in the NFL draft. He's going to run a 4.53 in the 40, elite athleticism, great vertical.
All of that.
And he can play the trumpet. I mean, how many guys in the league can play the trumpet?
No, that is an amazing skill to have. He's a great musician. I've witnessed him playing. And so to be able to play on and off the field, I think that's the multi-talent player you would want in the NFL.
That's absolutely. The only problem I had with that, he said I would have to stop drinking.
Yeah.
No, hold on.
We should all take that advice. Yeah, I like that. That's a very nice kind of tree is that?
My bad. I had to unlock the door. All right, we good. We got a natural show going on here. But yeah, no, JY reminds me a lot of a Leonard from the Colts. I can see him playing a lot of outside middle linebacker, safety, hybrid guy. Isaiah Simmons. He's an elite guy.
You know, that's amazing that he says that, because when I did have my time on the field, I actually started out in the strong safety spot. I played that for 2.5 years, and then I picked up my weight and I dropped down to the outside linebacker spot, and I played that. Listen, I had more fun playing those 2 positions anytime I've ever played football in a structured setting. And I can absolutely see how anybody would want to play defense over offense. So man. Yeah, I mean, this man knows his stuff. He just sized me up, man, and he didn't even.
This is who I am, Don. Don, I know generally you're the moderator of the show, but do you mind if I ask Gabriel or JY a question really quickly?
Go right ahead.
People might want to know. So JY,
yeah,
you were a part of 3 consecutive step teams that won championships at the Bayou Classic, right?
Right.
Okay. Which one do you feel was the best show and why?
Oh man. Well, I'm always going to have a love for the very first show. The very first win is always special. You know, obviously because, you know, just like with anything, I mean, when you finally make it to that point, it's very special to you. But for me, the most important show for me was probably our last. And that was because we put so much energy into the show. A lot of people don't know this. They actually cut off the second half of our show. They said we ran over time. And normally what they would do is they would let you run over time and they would just dock you points. They literally cut the lights off and sound off on us on stage in the middle of our show. And the judges said that what we put into the first half of that show was so amazing that they didn't need to see the other half of the show, and they still gave it to us. They still gave us the win. And I think that said a lot because we had a lot of pride in giving it everything we had, every step, every minute, every moment. And that was really what it was all about. If we was able to win the show with half a show and everybody else gave a full show, it was confirmation to us that we gave it everything that we had in that show.
Wow.
I'm gonna raise my hand. I'm gonna respectfully disagree, Don. Before we get into the show, Don.
Wait, was that a lot of BS or what?
Don, I'm gonna just keep it a band with you, Don. Since we light skinned cousins, me and you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm gonna say this: the 02 show, because they won 02, 03, 04. The 02 show, they came out to the Michael Jackson "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough." We hadn't had that chapter because I wasn't part of it yet. Hadn't had a line yet in like a couple of years. And the step show was in a small gym as opposed to the larger mini dome. That was, to me, the show where it was at that moment, I'm going to be an alpha. I don't care what nobody says. It was a good show. But the best show was the 03 show when they came out to Michael Jackson, PYT, Pretty Young Thing, and Seymour. The show is called Undisputed. It was the best show ever. So I don't know what he's talking about with this 04. Like, it was 03. And we're not arguing this, and we can move on. Well, we're not going back and forth about it.
Hey man, listen. It makes sense. Undisputed was the show where we won the most. We won championship, but we won the most shows altogether.
13 in a row. 13.
Yeah, I mean, but at the end of the day, you asked me my opinion, so I gave you my opinion.
Yeah. Your opinion is not only wrong, but it's terrible.
Well, they say opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, so I want to talk to you because you started a sports agency called Cover 2 or C2 Sports. You're an actual agent, and we haven't had a chance to talk to anybody about this industry because a lot of people, this really doesn't kind of get covered. These agents kind of just lie in the background. If they got a high-profile player, you may see the agent here and there, but for the most part, you're kind of behind the scenes. How did you get into wanting to be a sports agent and starting your own agency, C2 Sports?
Great question, bro. For me, I've always loved ball, and I think that's the first thing, right? Like you can look at it and you're like, do I love sports? And I've always loved sports. I've always played sports. I've always followed athletes. Like I can remember being 6 years old, 7 years old, watching Inside the NFL, and it didn't come on until like 10 o'clock on Thursdays. But my mama would let me stay up and watch it. So I've always been a guy who loved ball. And, I knew that was going to be what I was going to do, some way, shape, or form. So what happened was, I finished law school, greatest law school in the world, Southern University Law Center. And I made a decision that this is what I was going to do. So I had to take a test in Washington, D.C. Had to pay a lot of money to take the damn test, but passed the agency exam. And then I knew that this is what I wanted to do. It wasn't a question of what I'm about to do. It was what I was going to do. So I got into the business, man, and I had resources. I'm from Louisiana. I'm from the 337, Eunice, Louisiana, to be specific. It's a wealth of talent there. It's a lot going on. And I knew that people knew me, people trusted me. And if I could get into the business and do what I had to do, that I could start my own business. And, I had a lot of opportunities to join bigger firms, but I kind of wanted to do it my way. And I kind of wanted to get into the business and control the kind of guys I wanted to represent and things I wanted to do. And really that's how I came into starting it.
So, and speaking of that, let me ask you. You said you had our.
Oh, we done lost.
I think he's gonna say. He said he's probably gonna say.
What happened, Gabe? Did you run out of power?
You unplugged me. Jesus.
Jay, you good?
Hit the display on your camera, okay? Can you hit the? Oh, he plugged you again. While Gabe is working out his issues, let's talk about the sport agent industry. What is required to get in there to be a sports agent? Like, you're an attorney, so you know the legal ramifications. I mean, but did you have to learn contract structure? Did you have to learn how do I sit there and position this player to maximize the most out of what a team can offer him, to make sure that he's taken care of or she's taken care of, whoever you represent, when you're designing a contract? Like, how did you learn these ins and outs? Obviously, you have a sports background, so I'm pretty sure that helped. But as far as understanding the contract structure and making it very profitable for the player you're representing, like, how did you learn all that?
I say that a lot of it, like you said, Don, is common sense. I think people really put contract negotiations on this higher echelon. We've been doing this since we was 3-4 years old, right? Hey, Gabe, you're back. But I would say that it wasn't anything like it wasn't a novel. It wasn't this novel concept. But for me, as an attorney, I started my career at 24, 25 years old at one of the biggest law firms in the country. So in that time, I was handling a lot of complex commercial litigation. So you see all these things at a high level. And honestly, it's easier dealing with sports contracts than a lot of the complex things that I was doing at that time. So I've always been a person that's been really dedicated to my craft. So I work really hard. I pay attention to the nuances of contracts. Where we're talking about roster bonuses, option bonuses, all these things. It's really just about having the attention to detail and wanting to be special.
Well, if you make it sound easy, and if it's that easy, why didn't Master P negotiate a better contract for Ricky Williams?
That's a great question.
Because
Master P,
he crafted a very expensive contract, but it was so hard to hit all of the incentives that were placed in the contract. How could he not figure that out? Because you make it sound easy.
Well, what I say with P was, first of all, let me just say that Master P.
No shade on P at all.
Let me just first of all say that P is an absolute legend in that he didn't hoop, so dope, played in the league, and was a sports agent and had cereal, and his son is a GOAT. So,
listen, he gets a little sensitive when you start talking about him, because I've actually had him come up to the radio station and press me about a couple of things. I would say with the No Limit Sports Agency, it was a great concept, right? It was a great concept in principle, but when they got to that contract, they relied too high on incentives. What they did was, it was a very incentive-laden contract. As for like reaching 1,500, had he done all those things that they said he was going to do in the contract, some of us might view it as the greatest contract ever written. It just so happened that they really, really gambled and they bet on Ricky in a way that I don't think you should have in that instance, right? Because at the time, the Saints had given up 5 or 6 picks for Ricky. They're giving up their whole draft to get Ricky. And we're talking about a running back. And the thing about with a running back, it's contingent on your O-line, it's contingent on play calling. So I don't think that those guys, I don't think that they thought that all the way through. It was just one of those things where it was a boom or bust. It's kind of like you go to the casino and you bet on 16 on blackjack. It's either, shit, we gonna get a bag, or we going home without a bag. So basically, it was a gamble, and I'm pretty sure. You think Ricky was aware of that?
He was. If you watched there was a special on Master P on BET, and Ricky actually said he had a lot to do with that. And that's the tough thing about an agent. Sometimes a player will be really, really adamant about things, and as an agent, you can't say like, hell nah, bro, you tripping. So I think, being that No Limit was a new agency and Ricky was their first guy, they didn't have as much leverage to say, nah, bro, you tripping. They kind of had to roll with what the client wanted to do. And honestly, Ricky had a lot to do with the structure of that deal. If we're talking about 2015, that's not even a deal, because Ricky's deal is locked in by the CBA, and he's getting the money that he's gonna get per the collective bargaining agreement.
Right. Wow. Okay. What challenges did you run into starting your agency?
Right.
It's a lot, Jay. It's a lot, Don. For one, you're dealing, and you know we're gonna be on this is a candid forum, so I think one of the things you deal with is capital, as in money, because
I don't mean to stop you. So you're saying that it took you a lot of money to get licensed, and beyond that license, there was also more capital investment that was needed.
first of all, great question, JY. But what I'm saying is, hold on, bro. Jay, fix you one, bro. Paul, you good? You can come in the back. My boy here too. Look, I got my partner here. He back there being quiet. I told him it's a lit show. But I would say that like just to get invested, you know, first of all, you have to have at least a master's degree to even take the test. And then the test is hard. The test was low key harder than the bar exam. I'm gonna be honest. It's 60 questions. You got to get at least 45 right. That shit hard. I got 54 right, but I'm like that, JY. But everybody else, it might have been hard. But it's a difficult test. And you know,
it was kind of hard for you, but you right?
Nah, not me. You know that, JY.
Yeah, I know.
It's like 3,000 to even take the test.
Wow.
It's 3,000, I think, and then you gotta fly to take the test. You're out there, right? So you go fly.
So this is not something that you can take at your local.
No, you gotta go in that thing, sit in a room with other people, and take the test. You paying for the flight. You out there, and then once you get licensed, you paying $1,500 for your agent fees and another $1,600 for insurance. So that's a $3,100 every year. So it's a lot of capital you got to put out there, and then
A lot of commitment.
Once you are licensed, you know what I'm saying, you're looking at it in the space where, you know, to sign guys, you're looking at paying for training, paying for a monthly stipend. It's a lot of stuff that people don't see behind the lines. So you're gonna have to have a bag. You're looking at, like, for example, if I got a second, third round guy that I'm training, I'm paying, I'm doing this, and that, I'm probably spending 25 to 30K on training. Right.
So let me. So you're saying this client that you just pulled in, you're investing in his everyday improvement.
Facts. Everything.
This individual that you said, I'm gonna back you. I know you have what it takes. I'm going to take you and I'm going to put you in these training facilities and camps. That's your dime. That you're investing in that person.
Yes.
Wow.
That's what it is.
Wow.
No. So you're looking and spending that money, and I think you have to be able to assess that talent and realize what type of guy you're dealing with and the percentage you're going to get. So it's so many things you have to take. It's a myriad of factors you have to take in before you even sign a guy. You're dealing with character, what type of person this guy is. Is he like? It's so many things that you don't see on Jerry Maguire, right? Like on Jerry Maguire, all you see is
show me the money.
Yeah, you see he signed a 5'7" or 5'8" receiver that makes it. That shit don't happen in real life. So what I'm saying is there's a lot of, from combine to a monthly stipend, all these things, and then you're competing against, you know, it's some agencies that have so much money, they just be like, okay, we're gonna give you 500 up front, right? Your mama, we know your mama ain't got money. We know this, we know that. So
this is before they get to the NFL, or this is while they're in college, or I mean, I know it's illegal, right, while they're in college, but
man, look, it's the wild, wild west, man. If we're being honest, like we on a show where it's honest. Like these guys are everybody trying to do what they got to do, you know.
So, are you dealing with challenges getting outbid or out?
Oh, it'll happen.
By agencies.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been times that, you know, for me and JY, I'll tell you this. It's been times I've been in a living room. I'm not going to lose many living rooms. I feel like I'm very candid. I have the acumen. I have the ability, any other A word that you want to use to be special. And sometimes you just ain't got enough money. Like that's what it comes down to. Like some of these kids are just like, who gonna let me meet Drake? And
who gonna let me meet? That's the incentive.
Sometimes, absolutely. I mean, you're gonna take some losses, even though you're better than some people in this business.
Just because you're not financially connected the way these other guys are.
Absolutely.
And you can be a better agent and lead that. So what makes what you do as a sports agent? Because I know the type of person that you are. You come in and you're a disruptor. You come in and you try to do things in a manner that's going to gravitate the energy to you by being different. What is it that you're doing in this industry, in the sports realm industry or agency, that makes you stand out, that makes you different, that helps you fight against it?
I say that for one, a guy who cares about the bag, that's just a guy who cares about the bag. I'm never gonna win you. You know what I mean? Like if you're looking for somebody to give you 500K up front, I'm never gonna do that. Even if I do have 500K, that's just what it is. Because you got to realize those rookie contracts aren't as significant as those next contracts, and that's a whole another element of this business. In that you might sign a guy to a rookie contract, he gets a year 3. All the big agencies, they just like, you know what? I'm gonna give you 1.5 to sign with me right now. Like the retention of the players is another thing. So for me, I'm looking for relationships and people that's gonna ride with me, irrespective to JY, to give you an analogy. I guess that would be like the Sigmas just won homecoming and they popping on the yard. This and that. I want guys that's gonna ride with me, irrespective of if we winning or losing. You have to
Right.
build
We're
those
looking to
relationships
draw. We in this together.
and deal with those type of guys. And I think I do a really good job of building relationships. I have 10 plus years of legal experience, which is something that a lot of agents don't have. 10 plus of meaningful experience. Like I ain't been on no billboards like you slip and fall. I've done this at a very high level. And
That gives you an edge.
yeah, and I grew up in a small town, and I actually understand sports because I have been an athlete. So I just tend to use the skill set that I do have, and I worry about my strengths and not worry about what I can do as opposed to what I can't do. And I realize I've built a lot of relationships with people over the years, and I work on that, and I do what I have to do. And if I lose, bro. That's how I've always approached it.
I think that's an amazing statement that you just said. You said you focus on your attributes, what you can do. And I think in business, a lot of times we get hung up on the aspirations of things that we have or the shortcomings that we have, and we lose sight or we don't put enough energy into our strengths. You know, I truly believe one of my strengths is my ability, as you said, to build relationships. And a lot of the business dealings that I have and a lot of the success I've had has literally come from the fact that I've built a relationship that lasted beyond today, tomorrow. It had nothing to do with money. It had nothing to do with spreading wealth. It had most and everything to do with how I treated you, how you treated me, and how we've grown some type of relationship in that realm, and we were able to figure out that also business could be done within that relationship, and that's a strength of mine. And I think that's a great point that you made, that you focus on your strengths and what you're strongest at, and having those other abilities other than just, as you said, the money aspect, which allows you to be effective in that realm. That's amazing.
When you say you start building relationships, are you going to start building this relationship at like the football level or the high school level? Are you
Nah, man.
stepping in and kind of just saying, "I see you, I watch you"?
Nah, you really can't. But it's early on in the career as you build organic relationships, and that's not like, oh, hello, I'm such and such. I represent this person. I think for me, it's a strength that I don't have the biggest list of clients because it forces me to have to like work a little harder. Some guys can just say, "Oh, I represent DeAndre Hopkins." Da, 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 da. For me, I'm ground level. I'm like a lot of these agents are starting like the guys in the club with sections, and they can just point them on in, right? I'm the dude in general admission, right? So that forces you to develop that skill set and work a little bit harder. So for me, you can start to communicate with people when they're draft eligible. So that's like 3 years from their year of high school graduation. And you build those relationships, you identify who the decision makers are, and you just be yourself. And for me, I've always said, and JY been knowing me since I was a 17-year-old kid. I believe in building relationships organically and talking to people and getting to know them and letting them see who you are without all that extra shit. because all that extra shit to me, I'm gonna fly you in on the PJ. I'm gonna do all this, and I'm not gonna do that. Like even when I am in a position to do that, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna allow you to realize who I am, and if you with me, you with me, and if you're not, it's cool. I'm gonna be all right.
You ain't gonna put me on Spirit though.
No. I said a PJ. It's a private jet. You good?
No, you ain't doing the PJ. I said you're gonna put me on Spirit. How am I flying in?
Probably Southwest. Shout out to my boy Shane LaBoy. Shane LaBoy gonna get you
on Shane, man. Listen.
Shout out to my line brother Shane. We got you on Southwest. It might be on standby, but you coming. You gonna get it. Hey, you have to take that 6:34 a.m. flight, but you coming.
Hilarious, man. You're an attorney, but you also have a master's in English, which I thought was very interesting. What was that about? Was this is just because you were dealing with contracts?
No, I think for me, so English, I've always been really good at it. So like, I'm not good. It's kind of like falling into your lane, Don, and what you can do well. I couldn't have majored in a lot of things. Some people could have had like all these choices of what they would have majored in. For me, I always wrote well. Like even on my ACT, like my highest score was English and reading. I was like, I'm a major in English, hone in on my writing skills, because what people don't realize, a lot of law school is how well you write and how well you process and your analytical thinking. So I majored in English. It was like me and two other dudes in English. You tell girls you're an English major, they looking at you like you light skinned and you're an English major. Oh, you sorry.
Hey, real talk. The first time this man told me he was an English major, I was like, "That's a major." Like people doing that.
Yeah, they did. They did me bad.
Everybody should have that underneath their belt to have the grasp and really understand and have a command of the English language. It's not. It's something a lot of people lack in our society.
Thank you.
No, yeah, hey man, but listen. It only took me like 4 or 5 years, but I respect the hell out of you for it, man. I think that's an amazing career choice. I think it's an amazing degree choice. I couldn't have done it, and I mean, much respect to you, man. No, I mean, no bullshit aside, man. Much respect to you for following that path, because you're absolutely right. That legal side of you is flourished simply because of your vernacular and your understanding of the English language and how to really put things in a perspective that people can understand, and how people cannot understand, but understand that they need to leave you alone because they didn't understand what you just said.
You got to realize, in the English language, we're talking about active voice versus passive voice. We're talking about structure. So all these things have helped me in my legal career. No doubt.
Done, man. I have literally sat back and lost like 30 minutes to an hour reading comments that this man has slaughtered people and their opinions.
That's because you have a talent of being able to curse some people out without letting them know you cursing them out, because the words you're using are just so unused in normal language that they don't even know that you banging on them.
No doubt.
Okay. Amazing talent within itself, man.
Can I talk about your sports agency cover to cover? Now, this is just you're strictly dealing with sports. Are there different areas that you're going to be branching out into? As far as I sign your contract, then I'm going to try to get you a deal with Coke. I'm going to try to go get you a Nike sponsorship. Like, I'm going to handle all that.
Well, great question, Don. Like for me, C2 Sports was actually designed. If people who know football, cover 2 is a coverage. If you're a cornerback, and Gabe will be able to attest to this. If you're a cornerback, if you know you're in cover 2, all you have to worry about what's in front of you, and you got help over the top.
Yeah.
Right. So so the premise was that all my athletes just have to worry about the field, performing, and that you know that you got help. Somebody got your back, basically, is what
that's beautiful
came about, right? So for me, it started, you're obviously gonna negotiate contracts, which is easy for me. That's the easiest part of it. But I've had experiences with Nike, Adidas, Verizon, Card.com, Panini, all those negotiating off-field things. Those are easy, like to me, because it's really what you've been doing your whole life. I think people act like this is some super difficult thing. All you're doing is, I have a product, which is the player. Here's what he brings to the table. Let's you and I establish dialogue. Let's build a rapport, and let's see what we can do. and like all that extra shit, bro, like it really doesn't matter. It comes down.
Well, no, I was saying, how do you assign value to the player that you're representing? You know,
well, I mean, you look at it, right? Some players have geographic value in that you have a player from LSU. Oh well, shit, we got that South on lock like Master P did. You know, you just mentioned the 80s are. I think the value of the player is always commensurate with what they do on the field and how they carry themselves and how do they interview and you know, it's so many things. Like certain players are going to have a different value, right? So you're able to assess that player, realize what his strengths are, realize what the market is, realize what they do well, and then you just make it happen. It's really like, it's kind of like this, Don. You got a homeboy and he with you, right? And then y'all looking at girls that's in the club, and the girl over there like, oh, I like brown skin dudes. Oh, I like guys who smoke a cigar, who may have some muscles, who may have been on a reality show in college. Oh, that's J-Rock. That's a fit, right? So it's just really about putting a guy in a fit, you know, and building those relationships. So for me, it's always been easy. Like with my relationships with Panini, the trading card company, they didn't fool with me since day one because I was responsive and I was articulate, and I was able to show them the value that was there. With Nike, you know, Nike has a different relationship. Like every company that you deal with, they have a different culture, they have different relationships, they have different standards of operation. And once you realize what those guys do, I'm not gonna say this shit easy, but this shit easy.
Wow.
Hey, man, have you had any like Madonna clients yet? Like guys that just like all green M&Ms?
I ain't gonna say no names, but I had this one guy was like an undrafted type prospect, right? Like,
you still have?
No,
You did have, or you?
Well, he ain't quite make it since we're keeping it a band, but the dude was just like felt like he was filet mignon when the league viewed him as Angus beef. So
it's an acquired thing.
It was tough because, you know, dude wanted all these amenities and all these things that like these top tier guys were getting, but dog, like, nah, you're not like that. So finally, you know, I'm from Eunice, Louisiana. Let me put my city on the map real quick. Eunice, Louisiana, 337, the bottom, right? It was just like the guy wanted so much. He was just like, oh, I'm gonna need X amount of dollars. Like he viewed himself as a first round pick. And finally, I just had to, you know, I don't know if FaceTime was out at that time, but we did something. And I was just like, say, bro, I'm gonna just keep it a band with you. Like, at best, you're a 6-7 round pick. You're asking for things that are way outside of the parameters of who you are. Like, that's dead. So I've dealt, like, the crazy part, like, you know, I had a second round pick in 2018, wasn't even a prima donna. But a lot of times it's the late round guys who feel like, nah, bro, you not like that. And as an agent, I ain't got no problem telling you that because I'm not desperate, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna make my money being a lawyer with or without you. I don't care.
A hard pill to swallow for the client when you because that's a realization of, like, I would appreciate you being honest and saying, listen, you know, I'm all about thinking highly of yourself, but these are what the facts are, and this is what the league and how they value. Was the client very receptive to that?
No, they never really are. You know, it's always I could go sign with somebody else. Like most times, right? I mean, who's responsible for somebody telling them you're not who you think you are? Like that's a small margin of the demographic. So I said what I had to say, but at the end of the day, Don, I'm a businessman. Like you're not gonna finesse me. That's over with. That's no.
Wow.
So let me ask you this: now that you've been in the industry a little bit, you got some clients here and there. You build, you know, your structure on how you want to run your business. Where do you see you taking this? Is there an expansion plan? Is there adding more agents under you? What does that look like for you in the next couple of years?
J.Y., first of all, man, that's a great beta sig question of you, bro. Like, thank you for asking that. there's actually expansion plans that are happening now. I can't really divulge that until you bring me back on the show. Like when you bring me back, you got it. But I'm in a position, bro, where I have a lot of people who realize my talents and they realize my abilities. So they're wanting to take me under their umbrella. And once the numbers have made sense, absolutely, I have to. You can only be Dame Lillard for so long, bro. You can only be Dame Lillard for so long and be an elite guy going for 40 every night. At some point, you gotta be Braun. And one thing about Braun is Braun gonna have a supporting cast. He's gonna have people around him. Yeah. So it's definitely expansion talks that are in the work that are actually spectacular. Like when I'm gonna come back on this show in, let's say, 18 months, and I want you to, like, y'all production people, I want y'all to shoot from that to this. From that, yes, I have people around. I have goals of expanding and becoming a generational talent. Like, that's what it is. Like, that's awesome. And that's what's gonna happen. It ain't even no hoping, JY. It's gonna happen.
Wow.
Hey man, listen, when you got a talent and a gift, it's a matter of time, man. Sometimes you just gotta weather the storm, survive the challenges, and it's gonna be waiting on you on the other end. So I'm certain that you got that in your future. Absolutely.
Let me ask a question. Is there a need for an agent? Can a player go in and negotiate their own contract? Is that kind of like representing yourself in court? And they say
great question. It's been situations where guys have done it, right? I'd be remiss if I say it wasn't people who haven't. Richard Sherman negotiated his own contract. Jeremy Tunzel, DeAndre Hopkins just negotiated his last contract. He's the highest paid guy. Nah, it's not. Like, and I might be the only agent that'll ever tell you that shit. Like, no, like if you're smart enough and you have the acumen, you don't necessarily have to do it. It's kind of like having car insurance, though. You might want to have an agent just because you don't want to be the guy that's sitting in the room with the team and they're saying, we don't think you like that, right? Sometimes you need a buffer in between it. I do see as athletes are becoming more educated, they're becoming they're becoming a whole lot smarter than back in the 70s and 80s. It won't be a dearth of agents of athletes representing themselves. But for me and my goal and what we're trying to do is I want to educate you enough is that you don't necessarily need me because I'm teaching you every aspect of the business. Like any guy who comes to me, I'm teaching you what roster bonuses are, what option bonuses. My goal is that I teach you everything you need to the point that you don't need me, but you're going to keep me because you fuck with me in that way. Because a lot of these other people, they're not going to keep it a band with you. I'm going to sit here and tell you that here's what an option bonus looks like. Here's what voidable years look like. Let's talk about this. Like, my goal is to educate you to the point that you don't need me, but you keeping me because you believe in me. And you understand that you want to keep me around. But honestly, if you're a smart enough athlete, you can do this shit yourself. And I'm going to be the only agent come on here and tell you that.
Well, I would appreciate that, like somebody kicking me down game and kind of
absolutely.
To me, that would kind of help keep us working together because you're kind of keeping everything transparent. You educate me at the same time too. You know what I'm saying? And then you may get to the point where we got two heads working. Let's see how we can work together and bang out a better deal. But I've learned a lot about working about the football industry. I was working on a show by a guy named Pat McAfee who used to be
the punter.
Yeah, punter for the Colts, which the most amazing thing, I've never seen a punter kick an onside kick and then recover the ball back. I didn't even know you could do that. But I learned a lot about the football industry, and it's a lot of money and a lot of moving parts and a lot of it's a whole weird little infrastructure in the whole situation. I do want to talk just gently about this, about how well or how do you feel about people when they say the NFL is kind of like a plantation. I don't want to go too far off on a tangent. I'm like, are there similarities like that? Because I talked to Gabe about this earlier. I was watching a lot of the commentators talk about when Tyreek Hill had his issues off the field with his child and stuff like that. And just the way they were talking about him and dehumanizing him and not really kind of just wanting to throw him under the bus. It just seems so nasty to a certain point. Then they go on to the Super Bowl, and then all is forgiven.
Well, first of all, shout out to Tyree and his representation for getting that 3-year, like $50 million extension. Those are the type of deals as an agent I like to see football guys signing basketball deals. Julio Jones, Kirk Cousins. You're starting to see, I would say in the next 10 years, you're going to see a lot more football players sign those type deals. Shorter deals, higher guaranteed money up front. Like, let's get it. I don't give a shit if it's a 6-year, $88 million contract if it's only $22 million guaranteed. Nah, we want higher guaranteed, shorter years, which is why Dak is going through what he's going through with the Cowboys right now. But I digress. But
we're going to come back to that one. I want to hear your opinion on that.
I'm going to give you what I think should happen. But with Tyree, I do think it's, first of all, slaves never had $1 million contracts to play.
And lots of people make that point. And they make that point.
I just want to say that, like the slavery thing to me is a bit of a stretch in the sense that we're talking about, bro, the slaves was on a plantation. You never heard a first-round slave draft pick get $15.2 million guaranteed. Like, that's dead. But there are certain aspects of it because, first of all, we call the damn people who are in charge of the operations owners. Like, they are owners. They are making money off of your performance, which is analogous to slavery, right? There are certain elements of it being slavery. But do I feel it being slavery? Hell no, because I feel like that's disrespectful to people who are actually slaves. Like, we're talking about slaves, we're talking about bondage. We're talking about people like kids, wives getting raped. That's dead. I think they should come up with a new terminology for that because slavery that's no way different. None of them slaves were millionaires and lived in big houses and none of that. So I disagree. But there are certain aspects to it in that we're talking about guys who are making billions, like Jerry Jones. Yeah, it's like, go ahead, Dak, go make me this money. Yeah, they're making you more money. But to call it slavery, I disagree. To call it slavery. No. There are certain aspects of ownership to it, absolutely. But slavery per se, that's disrespectful to people who was picking cotton and getting beat and this and that. No, I disagree with that. I think it's hyperbole.
Let's get to the Dak Prescott situation, which I thought I didn't understand how Ezekiel Elliott can go in and, as Jerry Jones say, pick my pocket and make it a little bit lighter, but yet Dak Prescott, who is leading this team, can't get a contract. And then they don't want to sign. They're BSing back and forth, not giving Dak what he wants, and almost to the point where they're kind of lowballing him to a certain, not lowballing him, but not giving him his work.
First of all, shout out to Rocky Arsenault, who is Ezekiel Elliott's agent, for getting him that bag as a running back after 3 years. Shout out to Rocky. I want to tip my hat to Rocky for doing what he had to do. Like, this ain't even about Dak versus Zeke. That's Rocky doing what he had to do.
Well, how is it Ezekiel can get a deal, but Dak can get a deal?
Yeah, but I'm telling you, I'm tipping my hat to Rocky. He's
telling you how he got the deal.
So now we're talking about Todd France, who is Dak's new agent. Dak was represented by Jeff Carrera earlier from Monroe, but he has Todd France now, who also represented Ryan Tannehill and a couple of other guys. I say this. I think it comes down to the Cowboys looking at Dak. It comes down to how the Cowboys view Dak. I think they view him as a game manager and not a generational talent. We can say whatever we want. We can bring the racial aspects into it, all this and that. But at the end of the day, they view Dak. They're like, we don't look at you as like a $40 million quarterback. We don't view you in that tier of a Russell Wilson, of a Deshaun Watson, of a Patrick Mahomes, of an Aaron Rodgers. They view him,
as a placeholder.
You've been in the club before. They view him as, they don't view him as the girl they'll take to Waffle House after this. They view Dak as the girl, like, you ain't getting no Waffle House. It ain't no breakfast.
Wow.
The analogies, though.
Because Dak's been a 4th round pick. a fourth round pick, and I don't think the people who watching at home realize like fourth round picks don't get no type of a bag. Dak's contract probably was 4 years, 1.8 million signing bonus. He probably got some Campbell Soup 7-Eleven endorsement. Dak ain't made no money yet, so he's incentivized, and that's what people don't realize. The discrepancy in what they're negotiating is that Dak wants shorter years so he can get back because there's going to be a new TV deal. The NFL just signed a new deal with Disney. Dak is understanding of the fact that it's going to be a new deal when I'm 30. Dak wants to get back to it when he's 30 because he don't want to get locked into a 5-year deal where he's like, I'm 32. Dak want to get back when his new TV money. I'm going to sign this 3-year deal, 4-year deal, get my 100 million. I'm coming back.
It's timing. There's other things that play.
So let me ask you this. So do you think that this leaked conversation or off the record conversation about Russell Wilson don't want to get traded, but if he just so happens to entertain a trading deal, Cowboys is on that list. Do you think that's going to be a disruptor to what Dak Prescott is trying to do?
I don't think it disrupts it. I think that people at the end of the day understand that Russell probably not leaving, bro. Like if we keeping it 1,000, Russell, why? Like there's no reason. Like I would be. Y'all can bring me back on this show, and I will wear a KKK hoodie.
We would never ask that.
But okay. What I'm saying is Russell not leaving. I think Russell was just trying to like get their attention and say, look, give me an O-line. I'm tired of running around here like Patrick Mahomes was in the Super Bowl. Like, Russ ain't leaving. I don't think Russell's leaving, but he was saying, if I do leave, Russ ain't leaving. He's not leaving. Okay, let's keep it.
Patrick Mahomes running around on the field?
Like Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. Like, that's what Russ looks like every week because his O-line is ass.org.
But
as an organization, I just want you to know that.
But doesn't that make Patrick Mahomes a better quarterback? The fact that he can sit there and run around the Super Bowl
Patrick
like
Mahomes
that?
is a better quarterback than Russell Wilson, and it's not even close.
Really? Wow.
No.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is changing the quarterback position by making
generational
versatile.
He's a generational talent. He's exceptional. He's spectacular. Like, we won't see anything else like him again in our time.
Really? Wow. So he's what you're saying. He's a game changer from his talent bringing to the NFL, which is going to flourish, but it's going to take some generations to catch up to him.
That's exactly what I said, Gabriel.
I just wanted to clarify that in other
since you're over here reiterating shit. Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate that.
On a side note, I just want to say, what about Cam Newton?
What about Cam?
What's Cam's future like?
I think Cam deserves the opportunity to go back to the Patriots and prove himself. Like people will sit here and give Cam a hard time because he black, he dressed like Mary J. Blige, and like
more power to him.
No, but what I'm saying is Cam was having a really good year up until he got COVID. And until we have more factual background about what that entails, I think him being hurt and then he got COVID, then he's with the Patriots, which is a very intricate system. Like running Josh McDaniels' offense, he fell behind, but he was doing really well. If you look at his numbers before COVID happened, I think he's done enough to deserve another opportunity. Like Cam is a special talent. Like I think Cam deserves another chance.
All right. I mean, the league loves a comeback story. I do want to say that. I mean,
absolutely. So let me ask you this: we're talking about talent. We're talking about coming into the league and being a game changer. What do you think about all of these guys that had these opportunities coming from college and didn't be successful? Now that they're talking about the NCAA is opening up the pay structure for these guys on a college level. What do you think that's going to do to those guys as they're going into the NFL and those NFL contracts?
As they should. I mean, if you look at Notre Dame just said, we're not being on none of these damn games until you look out for our players. So I think it's forcing the players who are coming into it to look at it with a broader perspective. There's guys that should, they're looking at themselves as an entity at day one. So you should consult with people like I think it's only really the high level guys. So if we're being honest, we're not talking about dude who like a third string left tackle. Like they don't care about you like that. But your higher profile guys, let's say we're going retroactive to like a Reggie Bush in college.
Correct.
To a Patrick Peterson, to those type guys, absolutely. Like your guys who are at those positions, your quarterbacks, your high profile DBs, your receivers, absolutely get with people who have a very good understanding of marketing and the business standpoint to create yourself as an entity, whether that's a website, whether that's a merchandise, whether that's coining terms and phrases. Do it. Absolutely. It changes the landscape.
Does that create a lane for you as an agent? Can you?
It does. As an agent, it does. Absolutely. You would be smart, but I think it creates more of a lane for these people who are very, very, very well versed in public relations. Like for these super, like CAA, like those agencies like CAA who represent Michael B. Jordan and these other people, like those people who have that acumen. Absolutely, it changes things for them.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is one of those things that it will force these young athletes to start at an earlier age, be very conscious about their movements and their actions in the public eye. If you have these endorsement deals when you're a sophomore, junior in college, whereas you already have somebody saying, hey, yeah, you need to focus on your education so you don't fail out so you can continue to play. But you also have this endorsement over here and this endorsement over here that's also looking at you and saying, hey, if you screw up, you're going to lose these endorsement deals as well. So when they make it to the NFL and those endorsements blow up, it's not this 21, 22-year-old kid first time having a $5 million check dropped off at his house because he just landed this endorsement deal and he's never seen that type of money before.
I agree.
He's put all that energy into college and now it's this new world for him. I honestly think it will change the landscape and the mindset of a lot of these young guys from that perspective alone.
No, I agree. It creates the situation where you like, look, I'm an entity. You thinking of yourself as an entity from day one, as I think you should anyway. Like all this does is reiterate what you should have thought about yourself, because ultimately you're a walking business. Like that's who you are. You are a walking business. Every day, that's who you are.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think this will kind of even the recruiting field for these colleges from a standpoint of the negotiation of what that deal can look like with this particular college over here, let's say an HBCU in comparison to a USC that may have 7 or 8 stars and this HBCU has 1 or 2 stars? Do you think that recruiting field kind of looks better if one goes to one or the other?
So you're basically saying, like, if I'm a guy who's a good guy and I just be another player at LSU, but should I come to Southern because I have more exposure?
Correct.
JY, I think that goes both ways, man, because I think at a LSU, at a USC, your stage is going to always be bigger because you're going to have all these nationally televised games. You're going to have this brand behind you. So I don't think it's going to be a deciding factor between a kid like, oh, I'm going to go to Southern versus LSU because of this. I don't believe that will happen.
They sweeten the pot and give them a bigger port of jerseys and more money coming through. You don't think that's not going to be a decisive thing because they want the exposure of the bigger team?
I think honestly, if we're being 1,000, like I love Southern to the bone. I mean, I'm a 2-time HBCU grad, but I think if it's a kid who's thinking about the monetary thing, I feel like they're gonna all more likely than not go to LSU because of the SEC, the ESPN, all of that there, because if they're trying to build that brand. Now, if there's a generational guy who says, you know what, I'm going to play quarterback at Southern, I think a lot of it depends on position too. A Steve McNair in this era, Steve McNair from Alcorn in 1995, goes play quarterback at Southern now, is a different thing. I think a lot of it is position weighted too. Like we talking about a lineman. Ain't nobody care about linemen.
Yeah, well, and I'm speaking to the fact that you have Deion Sanders that went down to Jackson State, took that job, and something as simple as his friend Troy Aikman decided to pay him a visit on opening season. The exposure on that brought a light to Jackson State that they have never seen before on their opening game. And the fact that they blew out the team that they was playing against 54-0.
Yeah,
So
that was
that Deion Sanders was able to bring that type of thing. You got those three guys that Deion Sanders brought that were high end recruits in a Division I style setting. Now at this HBCU, they have a limelight on them that may be a little bit brighter than they would have if they went to a team that was already stacked.
Oh no, absolutely, I agree. It gives those guys a certain limelight. But what I'm saying is, like, most of the elite guys, even Deion or not, they're not going to Jackson State. Like, we can call it what we want, bro. Interesting. I'm just being honest with you. The 4-star, 5-star guys that can go, because if you look at what's happening with Jackson State, there's a lot of the guys that's going there was guys who were at big schools and didn't get on the field. Now they're coming to Jackson State because they're like, oh, Deion will give me more exposure because it's Deion, which I think is a good thing for SWAC schools, not just for Jackson State. This is a good thing because when Southern plays Jackson State, all them NFL scouts are watching because they're like, oh, Jackson State has all these guys. If I'm a guy and I go whip somebody from Jackson State, that puts me on different eyes.
Interesting.
Wow.
No, man, this is great, man. I wish I would have this conversation like 20 years ago, man.
20? Instead of making me run errands for you, huh?
Hey, we ain't gonna talk about that.
We should start the show off with that.
Hey, no, man, no, nothing happened.
Oh.
Sound like some here.
We're a non-hazing entity. I was just he made me go do some things for him. So yeah.
Hey, well, let me ask you this, man. To all the young athletes out there that's looking to transition from high school to college, from college with aspirations of getting into the NFL, what is one of the key things that you found in a player beyond talent that you think is an asset for them to hone in on to get them to that next level?
JY, that's a great question, bro. How did you think of that question? Tell me what you was doing when you thought of that.
This is who I am, man. I'm the one that's going to poke holes in a situation to get down to the real nuts and bolts of things, man. I'm gonna figure it out.
I would say this, man. You got to think about it. And I was talking to one of the kids we were recruiting to sign a couple of months back, and I said, it ultimately boils down to, can this rich white man trust you? Like, it comes down to, can I trust you enough? If I give you a couple of $1 million, can I trust you? And to me, it comes down to, are you accountable? And that means, are you going to show up to practice? Like, do you love the game? Because, JY, honestly, if you don't love football, bro, like, there's some people that love what comes with football, and that's cool. Some people love the fruits of their labor. But, bro, if you don't love football, like, if you can't wake up in the morning like, I'm ready to go be the best, I want to be a GOAT, this might not be for you, because once you got your signing bonus and they didn't deposit it in your account 15 days after you done got drafted, it comes down to, do you want to be special? So for me, I think any guy I want to sign, I want to know, do you love football? Are you willing to do the little things correctly? Showing up to meetings on time is a thing. People don't realize that, JY. Showing up to meetings, positional drills, are you giving maximum effort? Are you willing to play on special teams? Because special teams, like, is important. Like, are you going to be a gunner? Are you going to do the little things? So
it's an important part of it.
It's so many things, bro, that's outside of just, am I a dog? Am I going to run a 4.340? A 4.340 might get you in the league, but a work ethic is going to keep you in the league. And wow. I only want to sign guys who are going to be in the league for 10 years. It makes sense for me as an agent, because I want 3 cracks at it, right? You want to get 3 cracks at it. So The goal in this NFL is to become a veteran. You need 3 credited seasons to get a pension. You need accrued seasons to get more. So, like, the goal is not just to get to the league, bro. It's to stay there, JY. It's to stay there.
Real.
Yeah,
And so many guys, they get their little $300,000 signing bonus. They're the richest person in their hood, right? All right. Once we take them taxes off, once you done paid your agent, if you got outside baby mamas, once they take that child support out, shit, you a school teacher, and you gotta have people in your circle who will tell you the real. I've been blessed enough to have people like Jason Hatcher, for example, who played for the Cowboys. He's a mentor to me. He's a guy who I look up to. He's been able to tell me the real about what the NFL looks like. And I feel like a lot of these agencies just gonna tell you what they want to tell you to sign you. I'm gonna sit here and run it to you from A to Z. And I feel like as black kids, we need more of that.
What's the mindset of the players coming into the league? I mean, do the players that are coming into the league or the players that you're dealing with, do the majority of them have that mindset of like the money just comes with what I'm doing and I'm going to focus on being the best possible player? Is that the norm, or is that kind of like a small percentage of the people who are saying I want to be a GOAT in this? I'm not focused on the money.
I would say this, man. Like it would be irresponsible for me to say that kids don't care about it, because honestly, they working their ass off in the combine prep and do this to get as highly drafted as you can, because the higher drafted you're getting, the more your signing bonus is. And your signing bonus is guaranteed money, right? So you get drafted pick 13, you're talking 10 million, that's going in your account. Wow. You know what I mean? So yes, they care about money. Like, who don't care about money? Don? You on this right now, you gonna get paid for this. You know what I mean? So like, they care about money. But what I'm saying is that the people who are have the ability to sustain and have sustenance in this league, if you don't love football, you gonna Jamarcus Russell your way out this thing. You gonna Ryan Leaf your ass out of here. So what I'm saying is, like, you find that balance when you're recruiting a kid, you're getting to know them, you're building that rapport. You know, there's some kids in this game, they're like, bro, I got to make it 10 years because my family needs me. Like, that's the kids that's going to never miss a practice because it's people counting on them. You know what I mean? And then it might be a rich kid who comes from an affluent family. Jamal Adams is a guy who comes to mind. His dad played in the league. He loves the game. You know, he loves the game. Obviously, he wants to make money, but that boy got a bag. He's in the trust fund already. So you find that medium between guys who like, shit, I need it, and people who love it. And when you love the game, bro, you give me 10 guys who love football in my agency, who love it, who are real, who love it, and who they loyal. I'm gonna make you a millionaire, over multi-millionaire, without question.
Wow.
Beautiful. Wow. Beautiful stuff.
This is an amazing conversation. C2 Sports, and it definitely sounds, whoever signs with you is going to be in amazing hands, just because your business seems to be on point, but also your mental. You know what I'm saying? It seemed to be on point at the same time too, and it'd be great to have an agent like that.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. Man, listen, I mean, you've dropped a wealth of knowledge, man, and understanding of behind the scenes. And I think more than anything, you have so many people that have aspirations of getting to that pro level of sports in general, who don't think about the little things, man. And I have a little saying that I've used in years, and I say, it takes 100 pennies to make $1. Mm-hmm. And what that means is you, in order for you to get to that dollar, you have to focus on that penny. Every penny counts. So if you don't focus on the little things, you'll never get to the big things, because it takes the little things to get there. And that's basically what you're saying is, man, you got to focus on those little things that make you a trustworthy athlete, a trustworthy person, in order to be seen by those higher entities that want you to be a part of their bigger bigger dream or Super Bowl goal or aspirations. If you don't have that, you'll never make it.
Yeah,
that's great, man.
absolutely.
I agree, JY. You know, my thing, man, is, you know, when you're thinking about who's going to represent you, that's the first impression of you is who is your agent. And like a lot of people get caught up in thinking, oh, you got to represent 50 athletes. Well, who else do you represent? For me, it's about, are you and I the correct fit? Both of y'all have been to the barbershop before. Like, you go to a barbershop, yeah, he might cut all these other heads great. But my head a little funny shape, my edge up this side. You find somebody who is the appropriate fit for you. And I think what's happening in this business now, JY, is that you're looking at a lot of African-American agents who are coming in the game and punching you in your mouth and saying, nah, from your Demarius Bilbo with Clutch Sports to David Mulugeta to Nicole Lynn to all these people who are coming into the business and doing what they have to do. It's a new era now, man. It's a new era.
Beautiful, man.
It's a new era.
That's great, man. That's absolutely great, man. That's absolutely great.
Well, listen, man, Paul, we want to thank you for joining the show and just the wealth of knowledge you've been able to share with us. We wish you nothing but the best in the sports agency business and life, man. You really seem like a good brother. I was looking forward to this conversation. Gabe told me a lot about you, man, and he said you are one of the funniest people he's met in his entire life.
I didn't even crack no jokes, man. Don, I didn't crack no jokes.
You cracked enough.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what makes you funny, man. Your analogies and perspective, man, is hilarious as you speak your truth. That's gold, bro. Always and forever, man.
Changed Gabe's name to JY now. That is the new nickname of the show.
Hey, and Don, I just want to say this, man. Thank you guys for giving me this platform, because it's a lot of guys who are in my situation who wish they'd have had this opportunity to talk to you. You know, like, I don't ever focus on the likes or the views. I focus on the context and the process. So I thank you guys so much for thinking enough of me to bring me on, man, when I'm not even a big name at this point. So you never forget that. And I'm honored and I'm thankful and I'm humbled. So I really appreciate you, brothers.
I mean,
absolutely, man.
The show's about dropping jewels, not necessarily dropping names, you know. So, and you did that extremely well this whole hour, because that's what we're trying to, you know, we're giving people a backside of a business, understanding what people have to go through in business, the pitfalls, the startups, even the trying to find the right fit for the right client for you, and you know, kind of getting the ones who want to just shine and want all the green M&Ms out the way, because I can't really do that for you. I need somebody I can work with.
That's what I'm saying, man. And lastly, before I go, JY, Gabriel, I just want to tell you, man, thank you for bringing me on. And you know, a lot of people don't know this. I'm big on giving people their flowers while they're still here. You're a big reason when I went to college that I ever wanted to make good grades, but two, you are a big part of the reason I ever wanted to become a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. And one of the things you guys always impressed upon me was deference and showing respect. So thank you, man, because without your example and your leadership and who you always were, shit, y'all might have traded me to the Qs or the cap. Y'all, you know, and if I go to any other organization, I don't know what happens to Beta Sig. So thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for voting for me to even bring me in the chat, because without you and, you know, the Rod Terrell, the Damian Watts, the shit, I can go through that whole 26 line of follow too, from Wilborn to Dick. Like, I can do it. I'm not gonna do it, but you know, without you guys, I don't ever want to become a member of the greatest fraternity in the world. Not to turn this into a Greek thing, but I just want to thank you, brother, because without you, none of this shit possible.
Amen. Thank you for keeping the energy, brother, man. At the end of the day, it's just one generation, you know, pouring energy into the next generation, so that generation continue to carry the torch, man. And that's a lot of what this show is about, man, is pouring that energy back into the next generation, so we can all continue to have someone carrying that torch and elevating us as a whole to that next level, man. And we are stronger together. And you've proven that, man. Without people like you in that sports industry, educating and bringing these young talents to a mindset to allow them to see that 10 years in the NFL or whatever sport they choose. That's going to empower us as a community, as a people, to continue to grow, man, and allow that torch to continue to be passed on like Olympians, man. So here's to you for that, brother.
All right,
absolutely, bro.
Paul De Rossell.
I like how you said it. Like nobody ever said it like that, bro. And look, and before I got, I got to say shout out to my fiance. She probably watching somewhere, but
that's right, man. You're newly engaged, man.
That's my baby right there. Name all on the wrist.
Wow.
It's official. It's official.
If she done with me, I'm gonna just put like baby Simba over it. But that's my dog. That's what it is, man. Thank you guys, and if you ever need anything from me, man, just let me know.
Paul, absolutely, brother, man. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll catch you later, man.
Hey, why can I get a 1-9?
You got it, man. I'm smoking a cigar. Mine's raspy right now, man.
Nah, never mind. I'm done with it, man. It's all good, man. Good night. Hey, Don, you my favorite light-skinned person outside of Ricky Cumbie. Just want you to know that.
I appreciate that. We got to stick together. We all we got.
All game. All right, man. Y'all be easy.
You guys be safe.
Speaking of Ricky, man, he gonna be on the show next time.
Can't wait. Hey, bring Logan on the show too, though.
Hey, man, whatever he wants to do, man.
No. Logan is his son. Logan went viral. Ricky is the dad, the bald dad, but Logan is LaMelo. Bring Logan on the show.
I'm gonna tag Ricky in that comment, man.
Nobody want to see Ricky. They want to see Logan.
Okay.
All right, man. Y'all be easy.
All right, Paul. Wow, that was an amazing conversation, man. That guy has a wealth of knowledge, and it definitely seems like he's going to be very successful in this industry. I mean, I can only assume that the amount of time he spent working in corporate law and negotiating contracts is definitely going to come in handy when he's working for himself. And I love it when people bet on themselves at the end of the day and putting the money up, going to go take the test, coming up with the capital, and having a good head on your shoulders it's a great recipe for success, man.
No, man, absolutely, man, absolutely. And hey, man, I'm glad we had this show, man, because I've been interested in seeing the aspect of his business for a long time, and I'm glad he was able to come on and share some knowledge with it. And I was thrilled, man, to hear that conversation because I'm one of those guys that think about what I could have done, how I could have proceeded into pro sports, and I realized it just wasn't for me. It wasn't in my deck of cards. But man, that's just the thing, man. Sometimes you need somebody like that in your corner to give you that direction early on to help you get to that point. And I'm glad he's out there helping these young brothers with the sound structure that he has in place, man. That's beautiful.
It's always good to run into somebody who has a good head on their shoulders, and it seems like he really cares about the people that he's working with and also what he does. And building relationships with people like that can only benefit you in the long term because he doesn't seem like a shiesty agent. He doesn't seem like a bad person. He's like, I'm looking out for your best interest. I'm keeping 100 with you all the way through. All right, well that wraps up another episode of A Whiskey Kind of Day. I hope everything is it getting a little warmer in Dallas?
It is. It's got a little warmer. Then it started raining, and then it kind of cooled down a little bit. But man, no, I am really, really good. I hadn't had a lot to drink since I got this Debonair Habano. This is a good cigar. This is a cigar, man. I'm loving this. I'm gonna have to grab me another one, man. How was that vodka you drinking?
I still have a lot more. I think I'm going to save the rest and put it back in the bottle, and
is that about $500 left of it?
About $500 left of this premium vodka that I got, but it's actually amazing. Somebody brought it back from me from overseas and spent a lot of money on it, so I want to thank them.
Awesome, man. All
right, have a great weekend.
Please remember to subscribe. We got many shows coming up, man. Much more commentary, man, and we love to see you guys. We didn't get a lot of questions in on this one, but don't hesitate to send out questions, even on the recaps, man. We'd love to get some feedback, man. Love you guys.
All right, holler at you guys next week.